Hello and welcome to An Englishman and an Irishman Go to the Movies, the podcast that will always react to I'm your Englishman, Ian Whittington, and this is my Irishman, who, for evolution, is just a thing that happened to everybody else. Sean Ferrick.
I was just born this way. I'm kind of like, right, okay, let's get into this. So if evolution is supposed to be like a little bit more, explain Apocalypse to me in X-Men. How is the first mutant the one with all of the powers when he should have none of the powers? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Right, off the cuff logic is, bear with me, if God is the template for all man, God has all of the powers, started with an amoeba, put the amoebas on the planet, and then evolved from there. The other answer is that movie is shite and doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
But no, that isn't the comics as well, isn't it?
I don't
Doesn't Apocalypse always like?
Yeah, no, well, maybe cool, but the film's shit.
Yeah, good opening soundtrack though. I actually like Apocalypse's theme.
Yeah, you know what? I actually like Apocalypse in general. I just like shitting on it.
You're such a poser.
I like shitting on it because
next you're going to tell me you like Evolution.
I'm going to hurt you so bad. So yeah, this is the podcast where we review, or video where we review X-Men Evolution, apparently.
Oh yeah, I've actually never watched that.
Wait, Evolution? Is that
it's
a
TV show, TV series? Yeah.
It's not X-Men the animated series. It's one.
No, that's the other one. That's the most awesome, second most awesome cartoon of the 90s. The first one being Batman the animated series.
Yeah, the animated
series. Come on.
But there actually is an Evolution cartoon based on this movie as well. Did you not know that?
There is. I was aware of it. I don't remember watching it. I remember
thing that happened.
Yeah.
Allow me to
also
find
Men in
my
Black animated.
pad of noted things. Yeah, it was a very Reitman thing to do. I know that he didn't do Men in Black.
Makes sense though.
He did a thing. What's the name of this show? Right, this is great content. Blah blah blah. Vamp for me, Sean. Vamp.
While Ian checks the name of Evolution, the TV series.
The Alienators. Alienators? Is Evolution the Alienators? Something like that. Either that or I've written it down wrong and my notes aren't worth a damn.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. A little bit of
column B. Sean, before we kick off, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. We are recording this for Friday evening. It is the end of the working week. It is quite nice now to chill out and relax.
We weren't going to do a rant section or rant, but fuck you with your end of your working week. No, for those of us that work in retail, this is the shittest end of the week because now we have the public to deal with on Saturday and Sunday. So stop that. Oh, I'm so glad that it's 5 o'clock on Friday. No, most of us aren't. Sorry, Sean, how are you?
Better than you, obviously.
I'm fine.
How are you, babes?
Yeah, I'm good. To the news. So yeah, a sad bit of news this week actually. Christopher Plumber has passed away. The nerds among us will know him. Probably most of us know him as Chang from. Whenever I watch it, it's my favorite Star Trek movie.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Yeah, if you were to ask me off the cuff, it's The Wrath of Khan. But whenever I sit down and watch it, I enjoy The Undiscovered Country more.
My theory on that is that if you're, a Trekkie or even a passing fan of these films, you're supposed to say Wrath of Khan.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
And if you say any other film, you're kind of looked at like,
shunned. Yeah.
Your Trekkies will treat you, and I say this as a Trekkie, Trekkies will treat you the way society treats Trekkies, right? So
I thought you were going to go with Trekkies will treat you as Star Wars fans treat anybody that says Empire isn't the best film.
Clearly Attack of the Clones is the best film.
Episode 1.
Well, in fairness, it's the first one I saw in the cinema. But where was I going with that sentence? Undiscovered Country it's a more interesting story, for one. Khan is, there's no arguing, Khan is the best villain in the Trek canon.
100%.
Well, he's neck ridges and neck ridges with Dukat.
So I like Dukat. He's cool, but
okay. Well, if you're going to shit all over him, will you say his name right?
Dukat? Gold
Ducat.
ducat. Gold
Not
ducat.
Ducat.
Ducat. Gold ducat.
Yes, if you're going to say whatever you're going to say, which is wrong anyway, at least pronounce the name. Oh, hang on. No.
Gold ducat. No,
Doesn't matter what you're about to say. Whatever
Sorry.
reason you're about to give me, you're wrong.
No, it's because my favourite one is Gold Madred. Because his name
he's
is
excellent.
Fucking epic.
Yeah, he
what
is
do you mean?
excellent.
Oh, he's excellent. He's excellent as if you were going to brush him to one side. He broke Picard.
Excuse me. I am a
can't
big
never do
fan of
that.
St. John Talbot. Thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah, look at the blank look on your face there. Yeah,
I
the
assume-
Federation ambassador in Star Trek V.
Oh, with the one with the whiskers.
No, that's
Oh,
somebody else
no.
altogether. No, it's David Warner, you tit.
Yeah, David Warner, and he's in Undiscovered Country.
He is. And who does he play?
The head of the Klingons, the man, Chancellor. Not
Take
Martok.
off that Star Trek t-shirt now.
Shut
Take
up.
it off.
What?
There we go.
I have
And the
Star Trek
ratings have gone up.
emblazoned on me. There we go.
Yeah.
No, the Chancellor.
I'm not helping you.
Could you stop, Chancellor? He looks at phone as if I'm going to have that immediately up on the screen. Chancellor A, Chancellor
No.
B. This is going to be really boring. Chancellor C.
All right, I'm bored. Chancellor Gorkon.
Gorkon. Yes.
Yeah. Whose look was based on Abraham Lincoln. There. Oh my God, you got it so close. Oh, I'm not going to lie. So Christopher Plummer died.
Yeah.
And he was 91 years old.
He was. Good run.
Yeah.
Good
hell
run.
of a career. And he was really varied career as well.
Yeah.
So as you say, yeah, although it probably wasn't the first film that we saw him in, because he is Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music.
Getting a little bit of a rank. No, I couldn't tell you what his rank is in there at all.
Yeah, I couldn't. Because it's probably, from seeing it through, I've seen clips in The Sound of Music obviously over the years, but I think seeing it through, I probably watched that before I watched Undiscovered Country.
Oh, totally agree. Sorry, I am looking at my phone, but I was trying to see the other films he was in.
Just having a text, seeing how everyone is.
You're boring me.
Yeah, it's fine. Totally fair.
Yeah, no, the Undiscovered Country, I definitely saw that after The Sound of Music. I don't particularly like The Sound of Music. So
I wouldn't be, I appreciate it, but it's all right because Christopher Plummer didn't particularly like The Sound of Music.
I love that. There's a deep dive there we need to do.
I think that's fine, but I'm happy to do it because it is a film steeped in history. Obviously,
it is. It is important. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think it's an important story. He's in one of my favorite films, Inside Man.
I've not seen that.
Now, Inside Man was almost my final. Sorry, there were about 50 films that were almost my final choice for the Rewindables. But Inside Man was front runner for a long time. I love that film, and he calls Jodie Foster a C word.
Bold.
Says, you are
bold, Christopher Plummer.
You are a magnificent C, and it was the first time that I had ever heard the C word uttered on film, let alone directly to a woman. So it shocked me.
And also, it gave you the template for how you act in your everyday life.
Agreed. Yes.
Yes.
I'm cutting that out.
What? Funny enough, he's in this lovely film that never seems to get talked about in the kind of the circles. I mean, considering we move in a lot of film talky circles. Whatever.
I don't know what you're trying to say, but
I'm trying to say that it's a film that never seems to get talked about by
in nerd circles or movie circles, yeah.
And it's called Beginners, right? And
no, I never heard of it.
It's a lovely film, right? He is.
That's probably why I've never heard of it.
Potentially, yeah. It's not Hostile. It's not Saw.
It's not the Human Centipede meets the Soviet film.
Just to the visceral reaction whenever that film is mentioned. No, Ewan McGregor plays his son in it. He is, I think at the time he was playing older than he was. It's about maybe 15 years old. It's probably not even that old. And he very late in life comes out.
Awesome.
Yeah, and like there's a funny scene if he goes to a nightclub or something and he's had a few drinks and he's trying to explain his new experiences to his son. And it's hilarious because it's exactly how you would imagine your granddad, who had a great time in a club, describing it to it's lovely. Now it's it's not a spoiler. It opens up with Hugh McGregor's going through his things. He has passed away, and a lot of it is told in flashback, and it's kind of how he gets to know his dad through,
That
finding
is
out about
such
him.
a nice story. That's
And
really cool.
it's lovely. It's a really, really. I might be remembering this wrong, but I think Christopher Plummer's character had a little dog, and then Hugh McGregor inherits the dog.
Oh,
Kind of, yeah. So it's lovely. That's just film. I suppose his most high-profile role of the last few years was All the Money in the World, and not because of
right.
good reasons.
Yeah.
Like that's a podcast to itself, just about doing that in Hollywood. I'm not saying it was right or wrong, but fair play him. He got nominated for an Academy Award for it.
Yeah, that's a whole other subject, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one that actually bears talking about. Maybe
absolutely.
Maybe we'll put a pin in that one and come back to that one, because that is definitely a topic. Yeah,
definitely.
But yes, so Chris Plummer, 91 years old. I must say, I won't say I was waiting for it to happen, but I didn't think he'd be long for this world.
No.
Yes, you know what I mean?
That's fair. There's a list. I'm not going to share the list, but there's a list that I have, and it's this year, next year, or the year after, and I'm just not ready for it. But there we go. That
is it weird that I have you on that list?
Yes, but only because there would be no pod without me.
That is true. That is true.
People are here for you. It's you, Sean. It's fine. I've dealt with that.
Yeah, everyone, drop into the comments below how much you are not here for me. Don't worry about it. I mean, look at that hairline. If nothing else, yeah,
got a thing going on today.
Mine's a filter.
Yeah, there's a hair filter. Brilliant. Why aren't you using it?
Lol. That's all I have for news before I throttle you through this call. That's all I have for news now this week. It was a slow week in my world.
It's a slow year, isn't it? Like, I haven't seen, I'm sure there's news we're missing, but I'm fed up of talking about Mortal Kombat, the movie. Should we move on to the Mortal Kombat, the movie? Should we move on to recommends? So, yeah, I have a recommend. It's actually a stay the fuck away more than a recommend. And it's...
Just before you go on, has anyone explained to you what recommends means?
This segment is more stuff we watched this week you may or may not like. And you may or may not like this. It was Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Oh, yeah, okay. I have seen this. So, okay, go.
I hate saying this. I wanted to like it and I didn't. And I'm fed up of going into movies wanting to like it but not. And I just did not enjoy this film. I can see some merit. I think it's the prettiest film I've seen in the last year that I don't like. Like the cinematography and the colors. What, you're looking at me like that's a dumb thing to say?
Just think, a white cis man saying that Birds of Prey is a pretty film.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't mean the people are pretty. They are. But
so now they're not pretty.
You're an ass.
Yes.
It is a beautiful film. Visually, the cinematography is cool. And there's one scene in particular where Harley Quinn is going through a police station with basically a glitter gun. And it is incredible. Like, all of these cops are getting taken out by explosions of powder. It's like just a festival thing. It's awesome. And there's a fireworks scene that I won't spoil. Harley Quinn sets off a shit ton of fireworks, which I don't understand why the fireworks were there.
Because Harlequin and fun.
Yes, that's fine. So there's jokes in this film that I think are really, really good and really, really funny. And I love Margot Robbie. I love watching her. I think she's electric and just... I would have watched an hour and a half of just her, but
frankly, you did.
Yeah,
but no, she's in every scene.
But she's also not as well. I think this had too many people in it. I
get what because didn't it start life as it was just called Birds? I think you told me this, so I'm parroting you here, but it started life as Birds of Prey and then sort of morphed into
yeah, Birds
The
of
Harley
Prey.
Quinn solo movie, but it wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah, Birds of Prey was always on the cards. And it was going to be more of a Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Catwoman kind of situation. And then Harley Quinn was so fucking popular in Suicide Squad, they were like, we need a Harley Quinn movie. So they attached Harley Quinn's name to it and then backpedaled even more after the film was released and just called it Harley Quinn or something like that. So yeah, it had some behind the scenes stuff going on, but I just think some of it is really heavy handed. I like Harley Quinn's journey. I don't like the journey of a lot of the other characters.
I love Huntress in the comics. I think she's a great character,
Yeah.
and I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the film.
Yeah.
It's not particularly written with any depth.
And that's my problem. That's it. It is definitely lacking some depth.
I don't like Cassie Kane in this. I think I'm getting that right. Cassie, yeah, it's not. No, it is Cassandra Kane. It's not Kate Kane.
No, yeah, no, I didn't
keeping track of these names. I was kind of like, what was the point? I was going to say what was the point for her? I saw Wayward Teen or anything, but as far as I know, like she ends up being, I think no, that's Kate Kane.
Either way, in this film, she's a pawn and she has nothing really to her. It tried to tell too big a story. I think it needed to focus in on Harley Quinn. I love that it is about her parting ways from the Joker and how she does that, but it just felt really clumsy, and it felt like a Joel Schumacher film by the end of it. It felt like Batman and Robin, because it's just scenes and scenes and scenes of punching thugs. And that's cool, but it didn't do a lot for me.
Do you know what I thought what it did very well was Hugh McGregor as Black Mask.
I loved that. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Like him in it. I thought he was good because he's selling it for the back seats.
Yeah, and he's not my favorite part of the film, but I really, really like him. And I'm hesitant to say that my favorite part of this film was a man, because that is the wrong thing to say entirely.
No, that's okay. You thought it was pretty, and your favorite part was a man. That's cool.
Up. It was his character. Like, he sold it. Like, it was like you could have paid him £4.50 or $4 million to do this. And I changed currencies there. That was weird. But he absolutely sold
current exchange rate, is it?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't think England's on the best side of that at the minute. But his part was absolutely fantastic, and I wanted more of his part. I think they had too many female leads to do them all justice with their
I get what you mean. I am going to have the fun when I try and transcribe this later on. It's like, he said too many women in the Birds of Prey film. Okay.
Now, I very quickly said, I didn't say too many women.
You said too many females. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
No. Too many female leads that deserve their own backstory. Thank you.
So they should have been, the concubines kind of standing behind Black Mask.
You so bad. No. They deserve their own films, and this film is just very, very messy, and I think it could have done better. Can we please move on to talking about Evolution now? Did you watch anything this week? Anything to recommend? Or
did I watch anything this week? Well, actually, what did I watch the other day? Oh, yes. Sorry. I watched two films this week. You'll hate them. They're starring women. One was Pieces of a Woman, starring Vanessa Kirby and Shia LaBeouf and Ellen Bernstein.
Yeah, I've probably Bernstein, yeah.
Ellen Burstyn. Sorry,
I don't know. I've heard of the film.
It's good. It's
heavy.
It is heavy. Yeah. There is a fantastic the opening scene, without giving anything away. It's done as a one shot, and it goes on for quite a bit. And because it works, because it's done as a one shot. That's awesome. That's the point, right? It's very, very good. It's the performances are both great and frustrating, and I think that's the point.
Okay, that's interesting.
But everyone is doing, it's well worth the watch. It's, I don't know, 2 hours or something. It's on Netflix, so
cool.
Trying to think, yeah, it's one of those ones. It's not that it's spoilery thing. It's just everything is so connected that it's, to say one thing, you kind of have to talk about the other thing, and then
that's fair.
But yes, very, very good. On the sort of other side, so as serious as it gets, right? On the other side of that, you have Promising Young Woman, which is starring Kerry Mulligan.
Never heard of it.
It's good. It's good. She plays a woman who acts as if she's too drunk to stand in bars every other night,
Awesome.
and lets a man bring her home because they're scumbags.
Okay.
And she then turns the table on them.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Nice. I like that.
And like that, won't say what she does or anything, but so the film then is sort of detailing why she does what she does, who is the most deserving for what she does, and the effect it's having on the people around her. So it is not a comedy, but
Dark
there is
comedy?
It's maybe, but it's very dark comedy.
Yeah, morbidly dark.
And like very, very good, fairly rapid pace. Well, and Kerry Mulligan is very, very, very good in it.
Awesome. I love it.
And that's my recommends.
I will add that to my list. I like the sound of that one. I'm morbidly humoured.
Excellent.
So the final episode of the Rewindables.
No.
For now. Yes, definitely a series that I think we'll revisit at some point in the future. But
absolutely.
Final film. I tortured myself over this one. Every single week I text Sean. It's just once a week that we talk.
That's it, yeah.
I don't want to, no more. I text him every week with a different film that was going to be, and he was like, yeah, that one's great. Yeah, that's great. Right, will you fucking pick a film now? Because we actually have to tease it in this week's episode. I was like, shit. But yeah, settled on Evolution. We'll round out with a comedy. This is the story of two community college lecturers or teachers, disgraced Army research scientist Ira Kane and women's volleyball coach Harry Block. I was about to call him Stephen Block. I don't know why. Harry Block. They discover a meteor, it's a meteor in... Hang on a minute. It's an asteroid when it's in space. It's a meteorite when it's in the atmosphere, and it's a meteor when it hits the planet. Ding!
Not gonna lie, did not know that.
Yep, it's a meteorite because it's reacting with oxygen. So that's the ite at the end, and then it's just a meteor when it's landed because it's not in motion.
Okay, that is
Science!
Legitimately good to know. And yeah.
Science. So yeah, they find a meteor and it harbors alien life or alien genes from another world by definition, and it grows a lot quicker than you would expect and evolves into creatures that they then have to defeat before they take over the planet. Boring synopsis over. Well done, Ian. Sean, did you like the movie? Because I thought you were going to like this.
I will answer your question with a question. Is it too late to do Inside Man?
Oh, this is right. So we're not going to. This isn't going to be as deep as any of the films that we've reviewed so far. This is definitely going to be the most lighthearted. This isn't trying to say anything about humanity or life, death,
isn't it?
Driving to the south. But it's fun. It's a comedy. It's funny.
We were kind of marveling in horror that this is now 20 years old.
Yeah, 20. Recorded in December 2000 and released in 2001.
And vividly remember, went to see this at the. I don't know why this film sticks with me, but I remember seeing this film in the cinema. Went with my mates. Really enjoyed it at the time. Because it's very funny, and it doesn't do any subtlety.
No.
Now that I'm 20 years older, I realize that it was made for me as a 12-year-old.
I mean, I think
because the humor, for one thing, it didn't age well at all. I'm just going to get it right out there. Ira Kane is a scumbag.
Both of them are. Harry's
they both are.
But
I think. I mean, he is. No. Like I was going to say, there's not one of them worse than the other. I think I just notice it more with Ira because he's so lecherous.
Yeah,
they both are, I guess.
They both are, and just no respect for women at all.
And the film now, So the one thing I'll say, I suppose, in defense of the way the film creates her character, it was Julianne Moore's idea to make her so clumsy.
Yep, and that is one of my biggest negatives with the film because it doesn't do anything for the story or for the character. It doesn't accidentally save the day, or like it would have made more sense if her clumsiness, if she tripped and set fire to the petri dish, and that's how they discovered that fire metabolizes the alien.
And
Because at
then
least then
the
it ties
clumsiness would
into
have been like, oh,
fucking
grand,
something.
there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead, what it does is it, in my opinion, it robs her of a lot of her, credibility
Yeah.
and, I suppose dignity to a certain extent. And but she's supposed to be this really high up person in the CDC.
Yeah, she's the deputy director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yes, and then you have scenes like Ira walking away, going, "Oh yeah, she's mine."
She's
and you're like,
and
you mean that, don't you?
Yeah, and all he has to do to seduce her is say, "I like you." Essentially, show
Can
an
you
attraction
imagine a
in her.
scenario where you like me, or where you're attracted
Yeah,
to
where
me?
you're attracted to me.
And it was like,
Bye, Ira.
Kidoki. It's not often I'll say this, but my favorite man in this film was Sean William Scott.
I know, isn't that so weird? Because all he's trying to do is be a fireman. Like
exactly, and he's so earnest in how
Yeah.
he's funny. Sorry, that I like that storyline. This movie is not terrible. Sorry,
No.
it's not terrible.
I totally agree. Some of the jokes don't land so well now. Yeah, so let's start at the beginning because we'll get there quite quickly. I love this opening scene. This is so good. So Sean William Scott is he's desperate to be a fireman, and he's practicing in the worst way possible. He drives to a shed that he's found in the middle of the desert.
Let's just call it what it is: his murder shed.
His murder shed with a blow-up doll of questionable origins. Let's say you and the blonde. And he's just like, despite all the warnings, still went to bed with a cigarette. And just does this epic like rescue of the doll. It's like, don't worry, man, I'm gonna save you. Like just worst, like there's no technique, just boots in the door, grabs her, runs out, performs the worst chest compressions I've ever seen. Like spends more time on kissing the doll than he does on the chest pumps. But it's brilliant.
And it sums his character up perfectly because you reckon this is how he would act with a real woman. And also because he says it a few times, his pharmacy exam is in the morning. This is not day one of practice. Like,
no. And this has got, surely this won't be on the test. And if it is, he's doing it wrong, surely. It doesn't it's brilliant.
And yet it's so silly and so funny, and yeah.
But it tunes you into his character really. The one thing that this movie does fantastically is tunes you into all of the characters. So as much as Ira and Harry we may not like as people, this movie feels like the movie that comes after 7 series of television together. Like I totally believe that they are best friends, and the way they interact with each other, I feel like I know them. I've known them from a TV show, not just this movie. So you can't fault that chemistry. It's so good. But yeah, so the asteroid meteor just comes out of the sky and fucking totals his car. Like literally flips it 200 feet in the air. Biggest nitpick of the film, that car ain't working anymore. And
I know, like that is a pretty well-made car. Like if that's able to just drive away again after that, and all he has to do is hold the door shut with a wire. I love
I just do this. Stop trying to slam the door shut. But the windscreen, you see the windscreen leave the car. It is gone. It is no longer part of that vehicle, and yet it returns. Like it is dead. I don't care how well American made it is. That car died.
It is an ex-windscreen 6 feet under, pushing up daisies.
Yes, it is. It is a former bit of a car. The score, I'm going to get straight into the score of this film, is fantastic. I love the kind of whimsical theme that goes all the way through. So the asteroid punches a massive hole into the ground. The car's been flipped and it lands, and then the bum, 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 and the kind of really jazzy theme tune comes in. And it just kind of like, I don't know. I think it sets the tone really, really well. It's just really fun.
It does, but David Duchovny is in the wrong film. He is
He
so
is.
miscast.
I would actually, I agree. I love the scenes with him and Harry though. Like that's what saves the film. But
Okay,
he
all
is
right,
just
be fair.
acting one note
It's
throughout the
completely
entire
one
film.
note.
One
He's
note.
just being Mulder.
Well, you know, the expression on his face is 10 years of X-Files, we didn't find any aliens. This fucking film. That's the expression that's on his face the entire way. The way it's like, really? This is the film where I'm with aliens?
You don't go looking for them. They come to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
you're not wrong there.
He like, I'm trying to think of the bits I like about his character, and he seems to be mostly very nice to his students, bit cruel to the brothers.
He's ineffectual to his students. He's a bad teacher.
He's giving everybody an A, no matter how good they are. There's no course in the world where everybody scores an A.
This is the problem where the movie goes for the joke instead of reality, which I'm fine with, because the joke is community college doesn't matter. And for him to have ended up in a community college means he's really done something wrong. And he's giving out all of the things, and he goes, now I know my standards aren't where they used to be, but there were 2 exam papers that I couldn't bring myself to put an A on. They don't deserve a C-.
They don't deserve a grade.
They don't. They should be ungraded, and they should be kicked out for copying each other. They both have the same fucking answer.
Although they are right. Cells are bad because they're really dull.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to do, and their uncle is stuck in a cell. And
what they said is factual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. I think it's only like the second or third sentence he says, but as soon, because I'd forgotten an awful lot of this film, right? So as soon as he said, "My uncle's in a cell," I was like, "All right, that's genuinely funny." Sorry, I had a laugh at that.
It is a chuckle. And it's the deadpan way that he reads it as well. That's like there was only one paragraph that I unfortunately committed to memory. Cells are bad. My uncle lives in a cell. It's 6x4, and he has to read the same stupid magazine every day.
It comes back to your man mouthing along.
Yeah,
which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, that's he's talking about our paper. But it's an unfair. It's one of the jokes that hasn't aged well. It's an unfair dig at community colleges. It
is relentless. Like, it's everyone has something to say about it.
Exactly. So you move on, and that's your introduction to Ira. Your introduction to Harry. Now, this is the bit that really, really didn't age well for me. And he is talking
Just
to
this
one
bit?
of it. I said the bit that aged the most poorly. He's talking to a female student that is trying to get extra, in inverted commas, credit so that she can be a nurse, so that she can use the nursing experience on her pageant to be Miss Arizona. Cool, fine. But then it's also like when Ira comes in and they're kind of leching over her, and Harry's giving the nod of elbows, like, yeah, I got a hot student here. Yeah, I'm going to give her some extra credit. That I'm kind of like, so Ivan Reitman didn't write the film. He directed it, and he hired people to rewrite it from a serious science fiction film into a comedy. But I'm still like, Mr. Reitman, you're better than that. Or you don't have to do. You might maybe it's a bit of, you got away with it in the 80s with the Ghostbusters and being a bit pervy, but this is 15 years on. Even in the year 2000, it had moved on from there.
Like, it makes me think about it, the kind of the string of those films. Obviously, not all Ivan Reitman now, but though, like, I'm thinking particularly Sean William Scott is in almost all of the films that make you think of this. Dude, Where's My Car? And you know, he plays the buffoon. This is probably one of his better roles, although I have to say, it wasn't since I've seen it, but I did enjoy the first American Pie film because I was a teenage boy when I watched it. I was the target audience. And I like pie. But
I too like pie.
Yes, perhaps we shall meet in a gents' public toilet and discuss our mutual like of pie. Do not dare cut that out of this pod.
There's a pandemic on. I ain't meeting you anywhere.
That's all right. Surely, I don't know. People do something with your bubble. Yeah, this film.
Sorry. No, I
So
get what you mean. Like, I think the reason it stands out so much in this film is that there's some good science in this film that I like, and there's some like good investigating and stuff. It doesn't need to be the college teen flick that some of the jokes make you think it is.
have you seen a film called The Faculty?
No, but I do know of it.
Then, without giving anything away, there's a similar premise. It's kind of the same but different thing, right? But there is aliens and teenagers and people doing investigations, whatever. And I feel like this film, it's like it blew a load of its budget on some really kind of fantastic looking miniatures. Look, all right, the CGI is dated, but whatever.
Hey,
we'll give the thing a break. It's 20
enough.
years old.
Yeah, it's not horrific at all.
It's not. No, certainly not. And there's a lot of it that looks great, but had some of that gone toward maybe another couple of revisions of the script. And what's also a little bit kind of, because you said you're dead right. So they rewrote this from a serious film into a comedy, and now the original writer liked what they did with it and stayed on and said, actually, no, I'll continue. I'm fine with what you're doing now.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't know what it is, because it does jokes, but it doesn't do some of them very well. It does science, but then it sort of brushes over it.
Yeah.
It tries to kind of create engaging situations that feel shallow, because going back to the start, because the humor is not landing.
Yeah, I agree. I feel, and it makes so much more sense now that I know it's a serious script or story that's turned into a comedy, because some of the jokes, they do feel out of place. So when I was watching it, this is the problem. So this is the difference between you watching it as a 12-year-old and then coming back to it now, and me watching it twice a year, every year, because the jokes still land, because now I'm waiting for the jokes.
Yeah. And that's fair. Like that's
And that's just what happens. Movies are emotional. It's hard to be completely objective, especially when it's tied into your childhood. But when I was rewatching it, I was like, this is one of those scripts where you can imagine you can have the script in front of you and you can't turn a page without there being a joke. So you can imagine Reitman coming back and saying, no, page 17 doesn't have a joke, put it in there. I don't care if it's a fart joke, but there has to be something in there that's funny. And that's where I think sometimes it can be, I love it because I'm still watching it as a 12-year-old, but with a new pair of eyes, I can see it.
And that's even though, like, so yes, I have seen this movie before, and maybe that is where part of my disappointment comes from, because I remember really enjoying this film.
Yeah.
Some of the design, like I'll say, some of the designs are fantastic. For want of a better word, the dragons look cool.
They're awesome. They are dragons. Yeah, they really are. They're awesome.
Also, those Planet of the Apes things, they could have gone down a much scarier route with them, because they're good. Like that's really a fantastic design.
Yeah, and they're unique. Like, you know exactly that they're primates, but they're different enough to make you think, whoa. And they were scary. That's the scariest bit of the film for sure.
Absolutely.
Like, you think they're going to dominate it.
So it is like, and that's why, I kind of like, I realized I'm coming down way harder than even I thought I was going to come down on this film. And I feel so guilty, because you're just like, I got to do Evolution's coming here. And even I was like, yes, I remember this film. Then I was like, no.
Yeah, I've done the same. I will still love it. I'm not going to defend it. It is not a tasteful film as such, but we'll get onto it, but there are some bits of this film that fucking crack me up.
Do you know what? Here's my deep thing. It's the definition of a rewindable film.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that you watched it young, and you watched it again, and then you watched it again, and you watched it again. And now that you're as old as the hills, you still, because it was like a rolling stone, really, and there was back when your back didn't hurt, and now there's, wake up in the morning, drop a couple of Nurofen, and
this is what it was like to have joy in my life.
Absolutely, yeah. Back when you used to wind up the motor to get. So, whereas I have, while you were on that rolling stone, I then went and watched other things or whatever, but I didn't ever revisit this. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's just,
I get it.
It's like seeing the zipper in the back of the alien that you loved as a child, and then you come back and you can see the wobbly cardboard and stuff like that, and it doesn't have. And do you know what? It doesn't have enough charm to excuse some of the
lechery. I'm not going to defend that. Definitely not. This is the first time I watched the film with a critical pair of eyes as well, which is totally different. So there were bits that fell apart for me, but let's move on to the stuff that was good.
There is good stuff in it.
There is. So the way that they get to the meteor isn't contrived at all. It is Harry is part of the United States Geological Survey. It isn't just, oh, did you hear the news? Let's go investigate it. He's been sent there because he's part of the USGS and it pads out his resume. But I mean, even that was lecherous because he's describing it and I was just like, what, did you accidentally click on it while you were searching for porn? And Harry's just like, yeah, something like that. Everything has to come back to sex, doesn't it?
There was one worrying thing, and I know it's meant as a joke.
No, I know where you're going to go.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just that in the context of kind of all the other jokes, it's just like
not so good. Yeah, so
underage.
Let's not bury the lead because it is when the government they're wondering, the government has taken over the meteor site. And Ira's wondering how they were tracking him and how they found out about it. And I was like, yeah, well, we were looking at your computer. And Harry steps in completely terrified. All of those girls are over 18. And it's just a joke you wouldn't... I don't think it's a good joke for then. It's definitely not for now.
He's a teacher.
Yeah. Is the implication that they are under 18? Or is he just making sure that they were over 18?
No, I think it's like the thing I like saying, it's not subtext, it's text.
It's just text, yeah.
And I don't know. But anyway, so that is a larger than I would like it to be part of this film.
That's fair.
Here is a good thing. So that soldier he's talking to, Ty Burrell, who I know from Modern Family as Phil Dunphy, and if you haven't seen Modern Family, stop, take 10 weeks, go watch all the seasons and come back to me. It's one of the most charming and funny shows I've watched. Actually, and sorry, while I'm on this, blinking you'll miss him. Cameron Tucker from Modern Family plays one of the officers that investigates the I think he's the one where they're getting the picture and he's kind of rubbing his bum up against it.
Hot. Yeah, they're holding it up. Yeah.
Eric Stone Street. So yeah, like that. But this is long before they had anything like this in the right. And it was Ty Burrell's film debut. And I thank this film for giving him to the world because he is just a lovely, charming, very nice person.
Speaking of cameos, do you know who else is briefly in the film in a blink and you'll miss it scene as well?
Hang on now. So, right. So I'm running through. Okay. So there's obviously not main cast, right? But we have Sarah Silverman is his ex.
Yep, correct. She's in it for some reason. I don't like that scene. I don't think that's...
Yeah, it's...
Sarah Silverman doesn't need to be there. It could be the cop is having breakfast at the next table over. They have some banter and then they overhear the call. There's no need for Sarah Silverman in this film.
None. Yeah, none.
One of the students.
One of the students? Oh, okay.
When they're investigating the meteor in the cavern.
Oh, yes. Sorry, it's John Cho.
Yeah, it is. Sulu. Sulu's in this film.
I love it. And it's like, if you were to, stretch out, zoom in, focus in. Yes, that's John Cho before.
There he is.
Would this have been kind of around or before Harold and Kumar?
Around or just narrowly before. Yeah. Just narrowly before, I think.
But definitely it was, I don't even know if his star was on the rise. I think his star was, somebody was igniting it.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was his first, unless he did some child stuff for Disney, which sounds just as creepy as it probably is, actually.
It sounds like it was probably on Ira's computer.
Yeah. Oh, stop it. Yeah, that's probably one of his earliest things. We could easily find that out, but we're not going to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like the mystery.
So they get to the meteor. They find out that it's bleeding. They take the samples back. And what's the next really funny bit that gets me? They go back and they're talking about it's the whole evolution thing. So it's explaining that it's the amount of base pairs that's in the stuff and in the DNA, and he brings Harry back to the sample. And Harry looks into the microscope and was like, now, how many cells does single-celled life have? And I was just like, you know what? If we're going to be big, important scientists, we need to at least pretend that we know what we're talking about. And it's evolved, and he doesn't quite sink in just how much evolution is going on in that petri dish.
Did you feel like, and I think this is a hangover from it starting as a serious movie, becoming a comedy.
Yeah.
Did you feel like these guys are horrifically incompetent? Like, why would would they not immediately let people know? Alien artifact crashes down. You see how fast things are going. Have they never seen an alien invasion movie in their life? And that's how it's treated. It's treated as if this is completely in a bubble and no one's ever seen, anything like that. And I'm being harsh on it because they take the time to explain some of the science behind it. It's like, all right, Grant, so you clearly know at least something about this. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't think they're incompetent. Harry might be a bit incompetent, but this isn't his field. He's a geologist. And when it comes to geology, he does know his shit. Ira is just 100% selfish. This is his ticket out. So the only reason he's not telling the government is because they will take it away. He wants this to get to the media, and he wants to catalogue everything and sidestep the government entirely. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and is way more evil than this film gives him credit for.
Oh, yeah, no, like he is technically doing his best to destroy the world. But it will get him out of some trouble. So he's
also the one that jumps straight to, we need to kill these bastards. Like, there's zero.
Does anyone even
fucking kill them?
Yeah.
No, there is no Star Trek in this film at all. It is, let's kill these motherfuckers.
There's no attempt to communicate, nothing like that.
Nothing.
Even in Independence Day, they tried to communicate.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually step one, isn't it? Something.
Yeah. And then, they got squashed like bugs, but,
Yeah, exactly.
Good times for all.
So, meanwhile, Wayne, our fireman, has fantastically failed his fire exam. And this is... Yeah?
Now, right, sorry, just because this is... it'll pop out of my head otherwise. So, random actor there. So, the one who shouts at him...
Yes! Wake up!
Yeah. Is an actor called Richard Moll.
Yes.
Now, some people out there would know his voice as he is the voice of Two-Face in Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, that I did not know. That's cool.
Yeah, and you see, I, again, love that series, but Two-Face has always been my favorite of the Batman Rogues Gallery, and so I know his voice so really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really excited. Yeah.
That's really cool. And hilariously fails, but this is, again, one of those jokes. You're making me shit on this film. It's one of the jokes that makes me laugh.
I'm not making you do anything.
Joke. So the hose comes over and hits him in the nuts. Yeah, cool. It does the job, but it's a low-hanging fruit, to pardon the pun.
Nice. What I think, right, so this is, I'm going to say something good now, right? So Sean William Scott, he is kind of a crucial role in this, and he is the clown. Now, I just want to say for the record, so I'm paraphrasing a very good friend of mine, Anna, who taught me this. One of my first ever things I learned in theater was, why are clowns funny? It's not because they're bad at what they do. It's because they're really trying to be good at what they do, and they just don't do it right. That is
exactly it. Yeah, that is absolutely spot on. They are so sincere in their effort to be good, but they're still crap. Yeah.
And that is Sean William Scott's character. It's he is this weird murder shack, and there's this dummy, and what's going on? It's like, no, he's actually just studying. He's working extra hard so that he can get into the fire brigade.
Yeah, exactly. And when he accidentally kind of teams up with them, and they're going to the house where the weird slug pig thing has happened. They know that there's been an animal attack there. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna stand out here and check everything out. And then he runs in and just like he falls over the sofa, but it gets me every time. It's the dumbest joke. He runs into the house, trips over the sofa trying to be cool. I was like, no, I was just conducting a parameter search. And he's just the clown. It's good.
He is my favorite thing in this film.
Yeah.
And I have, like, in all fairness, Sean William Scott, he takes what he's given and he nails it.
Yeah, well, he acts I mean, if you've got a criticism of him, it's that he's the same character in every film. So I couldn't unsee your man from
Stifler.
I couldn't unsee Stifler. It's just him maybe 5 years down the road. Totally. You could have called him Stifler and it would have been fine. Probably would have made sense.
Yeah. Although I think, do you know what? I think he's nicer in this film, say, than he has been in some of his others.
Yeah.
Because he wants to help. Yeah, and he wants to be a part of the gang.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's just it's just after Ira, Harry, and he just walk into this secure military facility and just walk into the middle of a meeting with the mayor.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. But that did bug me, yeah.
It's just, but there was just that moment of you had Ira going, you know, hi, I'm, you know, ex-military, these are my qualifications. Yeah. And then you have Harry going, you know, geological study. And then you have Wayne just goes, hey, did some chemistry in high school. And he waits for them to go,
for a round of applause. Yeah.
He's just like,
and it's when they get to the community college with the dog monster thing that has attacked and killed his boss. And that is so weird, isn't it? They go into, it's forgotten about.
It is totally forgotten about, but because that character, I always keep an eye out in films for, particularly comedy films, for mean kills, right? Like the biggest example of a mean kill, Jurassic World, The Assistant. What the hell? But anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And this one, it just skirted under it. It like, because he was unpleasant, this character. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't deserve to die, and he didn't deserve like Wayne to be like, "Yeah, he's dead." Oh man, no, that's so bad.
It's pretty dark.
That got really dark. But so when he goes to the community college and he's like, "Oh, so you guys are teachers here?" He was like, "Yeah, I was going to take some classes, but thought I'd get a head start on the job market." Like waiting for a round of applause again. I was like, "Oh,
good. Yeah.
Can I help?"
So for a while, there's like a scene of like, and what job is he doing today? What job is he doing today?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they they take all of the kids back to the meteor, and it's just like it's created its own ecosystem, and like this is just massively escalating. Again, another joke that just gets me every time. It's when your two men are at the top, and they're looking down like, "Hi, Dr. Kane. Hey, Dr. Kane." And he like kind of slips, catches himself, and is like, "I almost went down on that one." Like it's the funniest thing that's ever happened to them. And I'm like, "High five. Yay. I nearly died and fell to my death."
I like them a lot. I love them a lot.
They're the best students in the film. And again, they actually have a purpose. They have a function that doesn't feel tacked on. I love that.
Again, though, I mean, sorry, no, them. No, I've done a criticism for them. So they're down at the cavern, and there's not one or two flatworms. The ground is flatworms.
Yes.
Nah, just not going to mention it. Now again, but I get Ira not mentioning it for the reasons you said. Like he is just a selfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would Harry not think like, maybe we should tell somebody about this?
Well, I think they're only thinking 6 hours ahead. They're not thinking, what is this thing going to be tomorrow? They're thinking, oh, wow, this is a cool discovery. Let's take it from here. You'd think maybe, now let's extrapolate this to 2 days from now. Oh, we're probably going to get primates. Something that's more deadly. But I think they imagine they could keep it under control. I think where the film really kicks off and where I think it's really good is when the government take over. And they turn up, and just some of the, I don't know, maybe the jokes have aged badly, but I still crack up every time. It's when the Harry's being like really aggressive with the army guard, and then he eventually goes off, and I'm gonna get the general to come down it, and I was just like, you got to know how to talk to the white man. The white man's very sensitive. It still makes me laugh. Like, it might be wrong, but it still makes me chuckle.
it's like it's a very aware joke.
Mhm.
Like it's very like, and
Yeah.
it's kind of. I don't think they go too. I don't
No,
think they
I
go
don't
too
think
far
they
with it
go. I
when
think
they
the one
go.
time they might, they go the right character. If we're thinking about the same thing, the right character makes the bad joke.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's when they're talking to, they meet the general, and you find out that Iron knows the general and that he used to work for him and whatever. And they're having this big debate about getting that they're going to be cut off basically, and the government is going to take over entirely. This introduces Julianne Moore, who her main character trait is that she trips over and she's wearing a garter belt.
And
Cool.
the way they,
and then they're
like,
just staring at her legs and just like, oh, for a day function. Oh,
it's I don't even. Yeah, well, yeah, I just don't get where anyone thought that was funny. Do you know what I mean?
no,
Like in the
that's not
scripting
funny.
process. Do you
Yeah,
know
I
what
get
mean?
it. Yeah.
Because surely, even if that's like, it's not. I'm just. I'm not mad.
You're really making me second
disappointed.
guess this fucking film.
I'm also mad, but
Yeah.
I feel I think right. I want to see if I can just get this off my chest now, right? Because I love Julianne Moore.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's great.
I think
She's brilliant.
fantastic. I think
She
she's
doesn't
just
belong in this
brilliant.
film.
She doesn't belong in this film at all. And like at the time, she didn't belong in this film. She was a bigger actress
Absolutely.
than this. It completely. It's like it goes out of its way to demean her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And again, her being clumsy, again, realize this with Julianne Moore's suggestion. So Julianne Moore is going out of her way to demean Julianne Moore in this film. But why? Why is the only female expert made into a buffoon?
Yeah, an absolute clown that needs a man to save her. Like, she's got very little agency at all. In fact, she is Little Miss Exposition because she's wearing the periodic table on her back, which gives Ira the solution. She's just a tool to progress the story. She doesn't have much. Man, I hate you, Sean. I love this film. But the joke here that gets me so much, and it's the way that I've forgotten his name. Sorry, the actor that plays Harry.
Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones. His facial expression and his eyes. I love throughout this film. Like, his face is so expressive, and it's when the general is just belittling them. I was like, "What Dr. Kane and Dr. Black are saying here?" And he just goes, "Block." But then his eyeballs over to Ira is just like, "This motherfucker really did that." And it gets me it's not the fact that they confuse black and block. It's the general's an arsehole, but it's Harry's reaction to it, which is just like, really?
He's just so
Did
done.
he just do that? Yeah, I am done with this arsehole completely.
It's like, and also what's funny as well is like, I'm just like, yeah, that general's cool. That general, maybe don't get him upset because he will tear off your skin and wear it as a suit, because that's Buffalo Bill from the Silence of the Lambs.
It is, yeah. Interesting link between him and Julianne Moore. Both
exactly.
in the same franchise. Yeah, really, really cool. Completely different role for your man, but
yeah, that's true. I mean, they're all kind of costumes in their own way.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, they go. No, go on.
I was going to say, like, I have another mean kill, but it's skipping ahead too far. So no, you go ahead now.
So they then take it to court and fight this. Ira moons them on the way out in the car,
and you're like, this was clearly added when they're like, this needs to be a comedy.
Yeah, 12-year-old me thought that was hilarious. I didn't find it this time round.
To be arrested.
And Julianne Moore is like checking him out and just like, oh, that's endearing.
I was like, nobody's ass.
Fairly
Captain
certain
America's ass doesn't look good when you're mooning someone and pressing it up against a windshield.
No. I would like, and I don't know, maybe this is wrong, but I would imagine that the deputy director of the CDC would think that's pretty fucking childish and wouldn't find that endearing at all.
Sorry, we've a call coming in. It's the deputy director of the CDC.
Yeah, I think this is hilarious.
No. They agreed with the first thing you said. This was terrible, and finally someone's talking about this.
Excellent. Good.
Let's
It's all
just
right.
get to
I've
them. Let's
said the
just get to the
bad bit.
mall or something.
But
And
they have the scene in the courtroom, and he is
okay.
exposed as the reason all of the soldiers hate him, and the reason he's been exiled is because he created an anthrax vaccine, which even he seems really flippant about. So that I was like, could you give us some of the side effects of the vaccine? And he's just like, well, nobody got poison from anthrax, if that's what you mean.
He was like, if that's your opening statement, that
Read
frightens me.
read the room. Read the room. But I mean, it does, again, it makes me laugh when he's like, I see where you're going with this. Yes. yes, there were symptoms. But yeah, I'm still shocked that he got discharged like that dishonorably. Was it the fact that he tested it on 100 people, or did they
I
not
think
know he was testing it on people at all?
I just got that he just circumvented whatever the normal process. Well, actually, hang on. What am I talking about? 2020, Ian. We know exactly how long it generally takes to test a vaccine and to.
Hey mate, you can get it out within a year. So I'm just
Yes, you can. Yeah, but after going through X amount of tests and X amount of, unfortunately, animal trials. That's not me advocating for it. And lab trials and everything. So how much of that did he skip to get to the stage where he tested it on humans? And that's why. So that's where I got from that. If it was such a stage where it had got to, where it could do that to humans, he obviously had not done a lot of checks along the way. Clearly, he's a monster. What I don't know what the hell he's doing teaching children.
Well, see, this is my problem. So either what he did wasn't that serious and he just fudged some rules, therefore he probably shouldn't be fired. Or if he did something serious enough to get discharged from the army, why the fuck isn't he in prison?
Like you can be, I know you can be dishonorably discharged without it resulting in a prison sentence, but surely it
feels like this is one of the exceptions where that would happen.
Well,
like
that too.
You go into prison.
And hello, I will be okay. I realize they're not children, but they're still adolescents, we'll say.
Yeah. Hey, they're all over 18.
Background check?
Yeah. You think? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I can see your soul shattering with every second.
I'm not going to be able to watch this film again. This could be the only Rewindables film where this is the last time I watch it.
Look, what'll happen? See, what won't change at all from this conversation is all of the times that you've enjoyed this film.
No, I agree. Yeah, and this it's like a don't meet your heroes thing. Don't pull apart the stuff that you love.
That's
yeah. So they get back to their lab. They've been kicked out and they've been completely screwed over. Like all of their data is gone. Then Wayne turns up with the dog. They go and then talk. This is when they
because they go to the country club, don't they? And then they look over the ledge and oh look, there's all the dead dragons.
No, that's not at the country club. That's at the back of the lady's house when there's the animal
That's
attack.
what it is.
So yes, I think they then sneak in to get another sample. So Ira and Harry dress up and sneak into they sneak into the highly sectioned off military base. And this is again, we'll move past this because we get it. It's a bad film for doing this, but it does the I've forgotten her character's name actually. Alison
Reed.
Yeah, sounds about right. How she's a humorless ice queen in need of a good humping. That's not good either.
Like, are they trying? I don't get what the thought process was in writing it. Were they trying to make these two guys so unlikable?
Yeah, just bros that do bro things, but they're scientists. That is frustrating. I do agree with you there.
And rather than, I'm glad they didn't do she's so mortified she can't look anybody in the eye when they're hearing this. Because they give her a bit more faculty than that. But,
like she's hurt by it. She's not angered by it. But then I guess the problem is she then has to prove herself to not be a humorless ice queen, which doesn't sit right either. Anyway, moving on. That's horrible. We agree. It does lead on to one of the best, or probably the best scene in the entire film.
It's probably the scene of the film.
It is. So in the run up, there's just these little gags that I love, and it's when he's hammering away at the he's hammering away at the rock, and then everybody comes down. All of the scientists come in and say, like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, throws the hammer away, but it gets stuck on the mushrooms. Like, throw it away again. And I wonder, was it meant to get stuck there, or he's just like, shit.
I think you couldn't plan for that. You couldn't plan for that.
No.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Gets me every time. And the little mosquito buzzes around, cuts his way in. It's like, it's in my suit. There's no way it's in your suit. And it flies up into the screen.
I enjoy all of that. I have to say that's
the entire sequence is brilliant, and it makes its way inside.
It's in me.
And it's so rapid. He's then on the gurney being rushed into like a medical bay of sorts. They flip him over, and it's just like, it's going up the leg. It was like, we may have to amputate. I was like, not the leg, not the leg. It's like, is there anything else you can do? He thinks he's an athlete.
It's heading toward his testicles.
Take the leg! Take the leg! How your priorities change. It's heading towards the colon. We're gonna have to go rectally.
What about lubricant? There's no time for lubricant.
There's always time for lubricant. That is the line of the film.
Put that on the box. There you go.
There's always time for lubricant. Love it.
I like her. I like Alison in this scene. Because she's holding his hand, going, "You're doing
brave.
so well.
You're so brave. Like, you took it like a champ. It was this big." And the nobody can now ask me what flavor ice cream I want. So obviously he's in pain. It's like, is there anything I can get for you? He's like, can I have some ice cream? And she's like, what flavor? Doesn't matter. It's for my ass. And that 12-year-old Ian he probably literally wet himself at that. And I think that is a genuinely funny line that actually it holds up today.
I have to say, I like all that sequence because there's nothing, this is exactly what you see. There's no there's no mean gags in here, or there's no kind of side, he just had something up his butt. There's nothing like that. It's like, oh, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? Yeah,
this could happen, and this is what you get. Like, you were reckless. And to her credit, this is what Julianne Moore actually brings up: is you could have got your partner killed.
Yes,
you absolutely could have got your partner killed. I'm glad somebody's acknowledging how ridiculous this situation is.
Terrible human beings, just
absolutely terrible. So I've actually got the scenes backwards. They do that first, and then when they go back to the community college, they recognize the car, and Wayne is waiting for them there with the nom 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 with the guy.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah,
that's what it is.
You're right. I'm kind of like, hang on,
which way are we going?
Yeah, and then we go to the house, and then we find the dragons.
No, there's the cafe scene where they're going to get some breakfast. Then they overhear that there's been an animal attack, which is the cutest little slug dog that you've ever seen. Like, he is adorable.
Yeah, except he's the fucking xenomorph from Alien.
Yeah, it's like, that woman is such a bitch because she's like, go on, you open the door. And she was like, no, it's your house. You open the door. It's like,
why are you now getting the gun after I've been bit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they do that, and then he's doing the parameter search, and that's when he sees all of the dinosaurs. It hooks up a loogie, which is actually a oxygen tolerant dinosaur, so dinosaur dragon thing. So then they've now adapted to the Earth environment, and this entire sequence is fantastic.
I really like the mall sequence. Yeah,
phenomenal. They chase after it, and it's like, it's getting away. Is that a bad thing? Only if you're human.
Yeah. Oh well, sorted.
It's brilliant. They're gone.
I was gonna say, it's just like there's some really good visual gags here. Presumably the wife is dressing the husband, going, yeah, this looks really good on you.
Crash. And they get to the mall, and I was just like, right, if I'm a giant alien monster bird thing, where am I going to be? And he's like, lingerie. No, I said the alien, not you. Lingerie. Again, stupid joke, but it gets me. It's so good.
And then the girl who's trying to fleece the place by putting all the clothes on underneath. And there's somebody in here. There's somebody in here.
Bitch.
I liked it. It worked for me.
It's good.
The
Flies
creature
off with-
looked very good. Was it a combination of CGI
really
and
good.
model?
I didn't actually look into that. I wouldn't be surprised, because you don't get a clear shot of the bird carrying her in flight. You get a blurry shot of it, which I think is completely CGI. But then it's either one or the other. You either see her kind of like wrapped up, or you see it flying. And it gets me so much. They're chasing after the bird. It gets away, and they're like, what do we do? And the shot is perfect. Like, focus on the mic. Wayne goes up and saying, "You are so beautiful to me."
Well, what does he do first?
Oh, of course, just. I think
we have established that Ka-ka Ka-ka and Tooki-Tooki don't work.
It's the way he delivers that.
So that delivery is brilliant.
It's so deadpan. It don't work. So good. And he starts singing, and I was just like, "Stand to one side, Harry." Or is it the other way around? It's like, no, it's like, I'm gonna shoot him. And I was like, "Stand to one side, this one's mine." It gets me either way.
And I think because it's Harry who basically saves the girl, because he not only does he run to catch her, but he absolutely pile drives her into the ground.
She's got several broken ribs and a broken arm, but
I'll
the
take the
timing's
dragon.
phenomenal.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not this, I ain't doing that. Absolutely amazing scene. So fast paced. And so, "Please stop, Wayne. You're embarrassing me." He doesn't stop. And the shotgun just comes, it's like, clunk. "I will shoot you."
It's like, "Don't worry, I got this."
Yeah, stand down. I'm going to shoot this one myself. It's so good. And then the unison of like the three cocked shotguns as it like squirms on the floor is, really cool. Which then leads on to another beautiful scene of them all singing, play that funky music in the Jeep, which adds nothing.
Nothing at all. But that's one of the scenes I remember clearly from this film.
But it's a beautiful scene. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It does nothing other than transition from there to the next scene, but it's yay! It's so good. It's brilliant. Where do they get to? Man, I've seen this film so many times. Where do they get to next?
This
is where they crash in on the meeting. So they're having they've established that the plants are taking over.
Pete and I watched this 2 hours ago. How is it so? Do you know what I mean? It's like because I think there's so many set pieces. It's trying to keep them in order.
And there's not a lot of through line as such. This is where the battle happens. They go back.
This is where we get the mayor arrives.
That is it. They're having the meeting, and they know that this is gonna because they've got we've missed the geology bit. So the really cool bit of geology science is when they're at the back of that lady's house, and they're like, "Why are these things popping up here?" Harry does and I love this bit of deductive reasoning that's at that part of the cave system, that's at this part, and our cave is in the middle of all of it, so it's spreading out, which is really, really, really cool. I love that, and he's so excited about that. And even Harry, Ira's like, "I'm impressed. You know some shit." Like, "Hey, beneath this calm, cool exterior beats the heart of a true scientist." Love it. So good. Sorry. Then we have the meeting. The army has basically made the same deduction that it's spreading. This is out of control. What do we do?
I love as well. So she does the cool, the outbreak graphic, and here it is in a week, here it is in 2 weeks. And she says, and in 2 months the United States is overrun and we become extinct. So really, I think the French might have something to say about that, or anyone in Asia.
Anyone not in America. It's like, yes, you Americans will be extinct, but
nice of these aliens to stop at the Mexico border as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even going to talk about Mexico. It doesn't matter.
It's grand. Yeah.
But
Canada.
Dan Aykroyd in this is
Oh,
brilliant.
I love
He's
him.
the
Yeah.
perfect mayor, isn't it? Somebody take this ugly bag of snakes and lay them out straight for me. He's just a walking bag of colloquialisms.
Mm.
Yeah, he's really, really funny.
Then we get one of our mean kills in this scene.
Yeah, and you know what? I only noticed this kill this time round, and it's
like,
super duper mean. The effeminate, he's effeminate kind of.
He's more
lieutenant.
kind of just weedy.
Yeah,
you know,
weedy lieutenants. So they
and
get called out of the meeting.
Because the elevator's coming up, because the new evolution is taking out the cameras.
Yeah, he's destroying some cameras, and they get a quick glimpse of him, and it's a primate. And for some reason, it's only when the primates turn up that they're like, fuck. Like, at this rate, they will be spacefaring by the time we get to next week.
Actually, yes,
Which would have been
let's
interesting.
see how this pans out.
Yeah, we could learn some stuff from them.
Yeah. Get the technology, then kill them all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where the fire and metabolism thing falls down, because there is a certain point that you can do that with amoeba, but there's a certain point where complex life forms are harder for that to happen. It would take too much energy. Like, where's the energy coming from to allow them to reproduce so quickly?
Yeah, but you see TV.
Fair, totally fair. Moving on. But yeah, mean death, you're not wrong.
It's just like, and I think he's the only one that we see killed in this scene.
Yeah, like a couple of people take some punches, but he's just ripped down into the pit and dies. Like, they don't even attempt to retrieve the body.
Not even a little bit. Like, let's say he somehow survived the fall, right? So he landed on a mushroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting torn to shreds down there.
By something. Either a plant's going to eat him, or the monkeys just pound on him.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But that's the thing that pushes them over, that pushes the mayor over the edge, and he's just like, kill them all. It's like,
use napalm, which is
and lots of napalm.
Which is like, doesn't quite have the same effect as Apocalypse Now does.
No. I love that somebody mentions a nuke, and he's like, we could use a nuke. I was like, no one's using a fucking nuke. Stop it.
No one's using an H-bomb on my state. Like, I'm sure that decision is way
above your pay grade. Yeah, not happening on domestic soil, really.
Absolutely cheating, Mac.
So they resign themselves back to the back to the community college, and they're trying to figure out, like, what do we do? Like, this doesn't feel like the right thing. We don't even know what napalm is going to do. Flick a match onto the petri dish and it explodes, and they realize that fire is what kind of kicked this all off. So imagine what napalm is going to do.
Fire is the cleanser. Well, only yes. And there's exactly as you say, it's like, little fire and little amount makes kind of big alien.
Yeah, exactly.
Big fire and big amount, not so much.
Big plants.
Oh, yeah. Like the kindest description or comparison to make to the film is it's like, hot wire and blood in The Thing. Did that end up going well? No.
No. Definitely not. Yeah, so they get to they're trying to work out, right, what is going to kill them. And they make the kind of cool, and I don't know if this science checks out, that if you
apparently it doesn't.
No, I imagined it wouldn't, because why would, although 12-year-old me took that as gospel, I was like,
same.
Oh, that's how science works. So anything
100%.
works like that. Because if you go down from oxygen, go down to the right, you then get boron or something. And it was like, boron's got nothing to do with oxygen.
Was it not? I mean, I don't know. Is it not carbon and arsenic?
No, sorry. I mean, if you make the same move with oxygen, you get to boron, and there's nothing between them. So just because carbon, that's the move you make from carbon to arsenic, that doesn't mean that nitrogen to selenium or whatever the move is.
Selenium sulfate. It's how I get my hair so smooth.
However, it wouldn't have been, because that product hadn't come out yet.
It most certainly had not.
We've read the same IMDb article.
Yes, we bloody did.
That's amazing. So anyway, they make the move like, oh, take your top off. It's got the periodic table on it. And the guys that are having the end of the world party are like, yes. And it's like, oh man, I'm surprised the film didn't do it. I almost want to give it some praise for like restraining itself from not taking her top off.
Yes, that is what this film will be remembered for, restraint.
Shut up. But yeah, so they realize selenium, whatever it is, Selena Kyle is the cure for the alien plague.
I reckon Selena Kyle could easily take on these aliens and win.
Absolutely ruin them. Because the idiots are the ones, and he even says it to them. It's like, how do you guys know that selenium is the active ingredient in Head and Shoulders? You guys know nothing. And they're just like, yeah, no, that's cool. Our hair is nice.
Yeah. They're just like, you're exactly what you seem to be.
Exactly.
I like you.
Yeah. And the most convenient part of the film is that we need Wayne to be a fireman because he has access to a fire engine. Glossed over so fucking quick. Just because he's training to be a fireman doesn't mean he's going to get a fire engine. I've got the perfect vehicle. Cool. But you don't have access to the perfect vehicle.
And if you do, there's a bigger problem that, well, actually, no, there isn't a bigger problem than the aliens about to destroy the town.
No.
But we'll come back to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
so they get all of the Head and Shoulders, they pump it all in. And the interesting, not interesting, but the point is that selenium wasn't in Head and Shoulders. It was in a new intensive care Head and Shoulders that released after.
It wasn't just generally, like, you wouldn't just go into a pharmacy and go, I'll have all your Head and Shoulders, please.
Yeah,
like,
it would be one specific, really intense version of Head and Shoulders. And even then, it's only 1%. How Ira does the on-the-spot maths of 500 gallons should do it? You don't even know the percentage.
What do you have to back that up, Ira? To the aliens.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just pump them full of Head and Shoulders. Like, so convenient that this works.
I don't know, man. You're coming down pretty hard on this film.
I am. It's because I can't enjoy the bits that I enjoy now because you've shat on all of it. Anyway,
and my revenge for Interview is complete.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Interview is a better film. That film's grown on me over the last week as well.
Oh, that's good.
Asshole.
But yeah, so right, Buffalo Bill is doing some stuff, and it doesn't go very well. And then suddenly, big giant space amoeba.
It is really, really cool. Like, they managed to get there ahead of the napalm going off, but everything has gone to plan that they're going to release the napalm early. I feel like if you decide that you're going to napalm something at 12 o'clock, just because you're ready at 11.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't, I feel like the permits need to be rewritten. Like, you go at 12, you go at 12. It's not an early situation.
I tell you, if Locke was in charge of this operation now, there'd be none of this going early nonsense.
God, it would be incredible. I was like, what type of napalm is it that you're using? So, don't ask that question. I've written it down.
That sounded like you were asking me.
Yeah.
You should be telling me.
No, I know you don't like to be asked questions. I'm sorry, Locke.
All right, leave the Irish accent to me. But I do love your Locke accent. I love it.
Oh, this is napalm we're talking about.
Not 5, 6.
66. That's what we're talking about. Right.
You get some road closures.
Yeah. I went past a stop and go today, and I had a little chuckle to myself. We have to have the stop and go.
Yes.
I have a colleague that's Welsh, and he hates me doing that. Like, could you please stop? Could you please stop? Anyway, yes. So they do their thing. They've realised that the vegetables have taken over. And yeah, sometimes the most simple form of life is the one that takes over, and you chuck a ton of napalm at it. I don't know how they get out of the mine shaft. It's fine. It happened.
It's grand. It's cool.
Whatever. I feel like once you're napalmed, you're in pretty big shit.
Yeah.
But they survived the napalming. Now the sphincter.
Like, at this point,
that hasn't aged well.
No, you're right. It's the only part of the film. No, some of the film is fine. As in, it's fine today. at the time, you see, this is toilet humor, and
Yes,
so
it
much of the
is.
film was trying not to be toilet humor, and then it was American Pie, but then it was trying to be something a
Yes.
bit smarter, and it feels a little bit like there was about 25 writers on this. It's like, right now, Ian, it's your go. What are you
Yeah.
doing for your scene?
And they're all famous for doing one kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but because the big finale is, well, we'll just shove a hose up its arse.
Yeah, essentially.
Uh,
Although I still like Harry's delivery. And it was like,
what, with
get
the
me out
hose?
of here! This is terrible! This is horrible! Don't you dare tell anyone where I've been!
I went a bit West Country there, didn't he? Don't you dare tell anyone where I've
Don't
been.
you dare where I've been! I was the attractor before you. It's that cracks me up. Like, he's just like, this is horrible! Because it would be.
He's in a way, he's kind of like the guy who hangs the lampshade on everything, but he's also, but he's still is he looking at kids? Like, it's just.
Oh, stop it. He's not. He's absolutely not. It's a joke. He's not doing it.
But,
great. Googa Mooga. I love it so much. It's so good. They give it looks like, and Dan Aykroyd's the best line that he has in the film. It looks like they're trying to give it a giant enema. I was like, that is exactly what they're trying to do to it. Yep.
Like, that's it. That is, that's what they're doing. Yeah, nailed it.
So that happens, they escape, chunks explode, and then everybody gets a medal.
Oh, but Ira and Allison miss the ceremony because in the final indignity to her character, she is off having sex with Ira.
Yeah, they're doing it in the fire engine. And Harry's probably the worst joke of the film. Oh, I think he's giving her the cane madness. No, the cane madness is a debilitating thing that 100 people had. It's, not so good, Harry. But yeah, Wayne is a fireman now. The student is Miss Arizona in the background.
I did see, yeah.
So somehow between the end of the world and now, they held a Miss Arizona competition and she won.
And that's because, it's a multi-level plot going on here.
Oh, massively complicated. Yeah, definitely. Hang on, whose film was this? This was meant to be my film.
Oh, no. This is... I don't even know if this works for 12-year-olds today. Do you know what I mean? I think, as a 12-year-old in 2001, watched it. It was fun. And the jokes that were targeted for me, I got them. They're sticking something up the alien's bum. It's...
To be fair, 12-year-olds should not be watching this film.
Yeah, but and you're right, because this is not suitable. Gene, okay, right. Film censorship board from Sean Ferrick.
No, but it's not. Yeah,
it's not written for 12-year-olds, but it's the kind of humor.
Exactly. It's the fart jokes. It's a Shrek movie. It should. Weird one. So I genuinely wish I'd never talked about this film now. Don't meet your heroes.
I think what it is it's like we said at the start. I have 20 years removed from this, and I've come back now having seen funnier films. I've not this plot done again, but kind of varying things. Right?
I still think it's a unique film, and the bits that are funny are really, really funny. So the bits I wait for are the scene is the scene where they're snagging the alien. Like, it's one of my funniest jokes. One of the jokes that makes me laugh every time is when I was like, snag it. I was like, you snag it. I've seen this movie. The black dude dies first. And he's absolutely right. In any other movie, that's the bit that gets him killed.
Yeah.
So there's some bits
by the plant or something. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some bits of the film that are really self-aware and almost a parody of similar films. But you're right. It doesn't deliver 100%.
Like, in a way, I realize none of this is my fault. I did not make the film. I was not involved in the production in any way, nor was I involved in the marketing, but I'm sorry.
You know what? If you'd have come in and you'd said, this film is amazing, we would have talked about it probably for half an hour.
If
and
even.
just been like, yeah, that's funny. We've had a much longer discussion about it than I thought, and that's valuable because the rose tinted glasses have been removed, and it's allowed me to. Logical brain Ian is absolutely fine with that. I can compartmentalize and love it as a 12-year-old and acknowledge that it's not even a bad film. It's just an average film. Like, its rating on Rotten Tomatoes is like 50%. That's
Yeah.
exactly what this movie is. It is 50%.
Uh,
For me, it will always have the memories of growing up and watching it with a friend that I had at the time, and that's great memories.
and I think at the end of the day, that's when
That's a rewindable, isn't it?
that's a rewindable. There's films in that I picked for this series that I don't watch very often, but they're immediately pop to mind when I think what would I watch the most often. Obviously, Stand By Me I watch every couple of years, maybe. Donnie Darko I haven't watched in about 10 years, and I thought I think I enjoyed it this time nearly as much as I did the last time.
I know I enjoyed it more, yeah.
And then Interview, that was little goth Sean in the corner.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed. First of all, I loved Locke. Right, I'd never seen that before.
Yes.
I loved that film. I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
The two takeaways I've got is I like Donnie Darko a lot more than I thought I did. Stand By Me is fantastic, and everyone needs to watch Locke.
Yes, I agree with that. Panic Room is great. It's a nice, tight little thriller, and it's highly enjoyable. Probably wouldn't have it on my rewindable list, but it was not 2 hours wasted, put it that way.
No, absolutely not. No. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the Rewindables series. I think that was a nice way to put it. What's your of the 6? What's your top number 1 film?
It's still Stand By Me for me, but I might have Locke at number 2.
I think we're in exactly the same place. Locke is still my number 1 of the lot, but Stand By Me, I wish I'd seen it younger, because I think it's hard to not realize it's an 90s film set in the 50s, whatever.
No, actually, no, you're right. The first time, it's 80s.
Oh, 80s film set in the 50s. Yeah, sorry. But it's so much heart and soul. I love it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's to compare Stand By Me to Evolution, it's a film that benefits from nostalgia, except Stand By Me is a film where Evolution is a hot steaming mess.
Yes, agreed.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's no wonder that the cartoon series only lasted like 1 series. So it was kind of parallel universe. It didn't follow on from the film. It was the meteor lands, the aliens evolve, and they kind of expand. And so Ira, Harry, Wayne, and another woman, for some reason, they didn't keep Allison. They replaced her with a different person.
Just another indignity to the character there.
Exactly. They're sent off on missions by the same general to capture the aliens and to stop them. Yeah, it didn't do very well. Oh man, but I love this film.
And that's fine. Look, you know what? Go on loving it. Go on enjoying it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it for all the reasons that we haven't said this evening.
Yes. People, if you haven't seen this film, please watch it. Like, there are some horrible things in it. There's some horrible misogyny, but it is a funny ass film. And that's where I plant my flag.
Grand.
Right. Thanks for listening. On that.
What are we doing next? What are we telling the lovely people who are listening / watching? What's up next for English Irish?
Okay, so we're going to continue the theme of doing a series of movies. Next up is musicals. Oh my god, Sean is so excited for this.
I really am.
Joining us for, I think we're going to do a 4-episode run on this, like we have with the Rewindables was 6. I'm talking shit. We're going to pick 4 musicals. We think we've locked them in, but please jump in on Twitter if there's a musical that you really are desperate for us to talk about or think would be great. We'll chuck it into the mix and we'll make a decision. Joining us for the series will be the return of the Hogan. Albert Hogan's going to be joining us for all of it.
He knows scary lots of stuff particularly when it comes to musicals. So, Albert, No panic, no pressure, but we are expecting big things.
Absolutely. And that is a big, I know I don't like musicals as a rule. I just get the songs out of my movie and just get on with it. I think like they drag on too much. And I know even less about music in general, as you could tell from my horror commentary on the scores of horror films. I'm like, yeah, it's a good one. I like that. That was nice. It did things with tension.
At this point, I went, woo, but at that point, I went, ooh.
Ah! This is where we need Hogan's technical knowledge. So yeah, we'll welcome Hogan back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we will see you musically next week.
Thank you, everybody. Love you lots.
Bye.
Tooki-Tooki.